Hello, welcome. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on this special interview on NewsX. We're in conversation today with actor Karan Tacker. He's live in our studios with us. Karan, welcome. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much, yaar. What a powerful voice you have, yeah. Otherwise, you're such a soft-spoken person.
वो कैमरा जैसे रोलिंग होता है आपको पता है.
What a camera personality. How nice.
But great to have you, of course, in our studio, and great to have you in Delhi for a special project. Special ops, special for you, your OTT debut.
Yeah.
Now from Special Ops 1.2 to 2.0. Firstly, how's the journey been? Now you have an answer to those people, I'm sure, who asked you कि sequel कब आ रहा है, कब आ रहा है.
Correct.
So what's the feeling like, Karan, now that the trailer has gone viral already?
Well, the feeling's been excellent, honestly, and it's even furthermore excellent because the trailer has been received so well. To a point where I think, all of us also as actors, including me, KK sir, everyone, we saw the trailer on the day of the trailer launch. हमने पहले देखा नहीं था इससे. So we also were like, wow, like this looks good.
Yeah.
And of course, what happens also is कि we do our bit, so we see only our bits also when you're shooting. Then you get to see what KK sir and his end is. So वहाँ देख के realize कि ये world बहुत large हो गया, कहानी बहुत बड़ी हो गई है. And that is what makes you feel very proud of a property that has such a big legacy. One was received very, very well, and it marked my debut on OTT. And I have to be honest, every time I move around, and not because it's my show, and not because we're doing an interview, but I'm constantly asked, "Yeah, second season kab aayega?" So I'm very happy that it's just around the corner now, and I can't wait for the world to see it.
Yes. How is the action like? I believe the action has been stepped up in this particular series. Also, your character doing a lot of the action.
Yeah.
How was it doing some of the stunts yourself? And I believe you've gone to one of the highest dams to do one scene as well.
Yeah. I mean, the action has been upped, yes, and upped in a really, really big way. When I was reading the script, at no point did I feel like, this is what we're going to do. It's only once we came on set, which was in, I think my first location was Budapest. That's when I was like, wow, man, this is big, yeah. ये बहुत बड़ा कुछ कर रहे हैं हम. मतलब ये I'll have to really be very, very sharp for it. And my first day of shoot was a stunt, which even I didn't know.
Acha.
Only once I got there, I realized that this is what it is. And I remember that we had this 8-seater chopper.
Yeah.
And Neeraj sir was talking to some people on the side, and I know how sir likes to work. He's not gives you too many directions. You've just got to be kind of sharp around him. And I saw that what he was designing, and he's like, yeah, the chopper will be like this in the air, and this is where the container is going to be. This is the jumps and all. And sir looked at me, looking at him. He's like, "Kar lega na?" And I realized that he's talking about me doing all of this.
Yeah.
I was like, "हाँ, अब तो कर ही लेंगे sir, मतलब what do you want to do?" Yeah. But yeah, the stunts are big. Actually, not most of the stunts. I've done every single stunt on my own.
Okay.
And I take a lot of pride in it because, not for any other reason, I've been quite a fattu in my life. I've been very scared of heights.
Okay.
And I've been usually very sheltered as when I was growing up. So now that I'm responsible for myself and I can take decisions, I did every single thing by myself. The dam that you're mentioning, it's one of the largest dams and the tallest dams in the world. Which is in this city called Inguri, which is a sort of a hill station in the mountains in Georgia, and I've got this quite daring stunt that that sometimes even I don't know how I've managed to do, given my fear of heights, but I don't want to put out too much of it, but I've done it, and I'm really, really happy that I did because I had such a good time by the end of it, and I was just like, अरे यार काश 2 दिन और कर सकते हैं, मजा आता.
I'm sure after.
How many times are you going to hang from a dam?
Exactly. Exactly.
300 feet somewhere in the middle.
और जब हो जाता है तो अपने आप को खतरों के खिलाड़ी महसूस करते हो, I'm sure आप.
हाँ, पहले तो लगता है ये भगवान बच गए, ये बहुत बड़ी बात है, कुछ हुआ नहीं. But हाँ, definitely एक बहुत ही डेयरिंग वाली फील है. Then छाती और चौड़ी होती है because everyone on the set also knows कि यार ये एक्टर ने कर लिया खुद से, और वो एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग बात हो जाती है.
When you were first offered this series, तो आपका OTT में this was your debut. Did you imagine that this character would become so special for you? Would lead to, of course, more work on OTT as well for you, and would have you developed this work equation with Neeraj Pandey, who's one of the best in the business?
Not at all, यार. Frankly speaking, जब आप काम करते हैं ना, आप इतने डिस्कनेक्टेड हो जाते हैं कि ये किस तरीके से रिसीव हो, क्योंकि आपके हाथ में नहीं है ये. तो आप पूरी शिद्दत से, पूरी मेहनत से ये काम करते हैं, दैट्स व्हाई यू लीव इट। ये मैंने एक सीख सीखी है नीरज सर से। ये हमारी जो कोलैबोरेशन है, ये इतनी लंबी होगी, ये मैंने भी रियलाइज नहीं किया था। और मैंने भी एक्चुअली रियलाइज किया कि हमारी कोलैबोरेशन लंबी हो गई जब मैं जैसे आप जैसे लोगों से मिलता हूँ और वो कहते हैं ऐसा कि यू बीन वर्किंग विद मी फॉर अ व्हाइल, एंड दैट्स व्हेन आई एम लाइक, यार बात तो सही है, आई नेवर रियली गिव इट अ थिंग, बट आई जोक विद सर वेरी ऑफन दैट सर, everyone talks about Akshay Kumar and you having a collaboration, but I have done more projects than Akshay Kumar with you. So he's like, I'm aware.
Yes, okay.
So yeah, it's really nice, a very blessed feeling, yeah. As an actor to be attached with such a refined, nuanced maker, and he's one of the best writers the country has. Other than the fact that he's a great director. And we need more people like him to empower great content and to take such bold steps like the way he does with a project like Special, because it's not a cheap project. It's a very, very expensive mounting. We shoot in some of the most glorified locations in the world, and I don't know how he manages to do it. But he does, and I couldn't be more thankful for it, actually.
No, and very relatable as well. I mean, the fact is that this series, one is seeing, things like UPI and, AI and cyber warfare, and that is the reality now, what we're seeing, of course, around us. But if we talk about 2025, Karan, it's been a special year. Of course, Special Ops 2 aa rahi hai, magar already you've been to Cannes already. That was a big moment, I'm sure, for you as an actor. One hears about this festival so much from our childhood. Now to actually be there for a film premiere of your own, how was that?
It's been 2025 has been quite an interesting year, because what has happened is that post Khaki, I've been quite silent about what is happening in my life, because I'm generally by nature like that. And everyone has always been asking me, where were you for the last one and a half year? We've not seen you. But I काम कर रहा था. And I ended up doing Special Ops, and then I did Tanvi the Great, and then I shot for this show called Bhay. And ironically, so this is all coming out in a 4-month window. So I don't know how to really take that in. Sometimes I feel like I wish my work was sprinkled out over last year and this year. But I'm truly hoping that the audience takes it quite well and enjoys a little bit of abundance of me. Cannes was really interesting, actually. I did this film Tanvi the Great out of sheer love for Anupam Kher. And I did it out of sheer love of the subject that it's talking about. And
I think you're playing an army man as well.
I'm playing a captain in the Indian Army in the film, and it's actually the subject, the story that it is about of Tanvi that really touched my heart, and it's actually the niece of Mr. Kher. Her name is Tanvi, and it's somewhere loosely depicted by her life. And for something like this, I was just more than happy to be able to lend myself to a project like that. And for it to go to Cannes was just amazing, because like you rightly said, I've only known about the Cannes Film Festival thanks to Aishwarya Rai, because I think she's been queening it for the last 2 or 3 decades, if I'm not mistaken, right? And even when I was there, right, I was like, wow, this is really special. Because, you've got some of the most creative minds and the biggest superstars of the country that come to attend that festival, and you are rubbing shoulders with Denzel Washington on one end, Spike Lee on the other. You've got Jason Momoa, you've got Dakota Johnson, and I was like, wow, this is not bad. This is I could get used to this kind of gentry. So it was really nice, and I was very happy to be there. And it was a very, very humbling experience. Between you and me, I did end up shedding a tear, because when I was on the red carpet, and before I went, I was like, यार क्या big deal है यार, सब क्यों उतने red carpet में, red carpet ही तो है, इसमें मतलब क्या है? But it's exactly like the hype. Once you're on the red carpet and you have these battalion of photographers screaming out. Of course, they're not screaming out for me. Screaming out for the actors from the West. You really take a minute to take it in, and then you've got those beautiful staircases of the Lumiere. And it's just magical, and you're in a beautiful suit, wearing a bow tie, and the experience of watching a film like that.
No, you're obviously doing something right to be there, and so kudos to you for that.
Thank you.
Also, Bhai, you mentioned it briefly. I did see a bit of that. I was at that Amazon MX Player reveal, where we saw, of course, all the titles, and this also looked very intriguing. Again, a new genre for you. You haven't done something like this before.
Yeah, my endeavor as an actor has always been to kind of, make it a bit more interesting and challenging for me. and that only happens when you pick characters that are very, very different from each other. You know, my true uh, desire as an actor is that if tomorrow, you know, all my filmography comes together and, you know, you get to see all the characters that I've played, they truly feel like individual human beings, you know, and not a part of me as Karan. So that's the endeavor, and that's what I'm working for. Gaurav Tiwari actually is a very fascinating story. When it first came to me, you know, I
We've
didn't know
covered it
from
in the
him.
news, of course. Yeah.
And just learning about him, the fact that he came to Bombay, he tried out as an actor. That did not work out for him. Then he tried his hand at flying and aced it actually. He was almost about to get his flying license when he had this one paranormal incident which really irked his curiosity. And he left flying because, you know, you can't, if you believe in this part of the world, they don't give you a license because they count you as someone who hallucinates.
Okay.
Given that, to become a paranormal investigator, because he comes from a good family actually, you know, he comes from a good background. Usually क्या होता है जब आप भूत प्रेत की बातें सोचते हो आपको लगता है कोई यार, you know, कोई साधु टाइप होगा, कोई तंत्र मंत्र जैसा कोई बंदा होगा, पर वो अच्छे घर से आता है. वो सारी चीजें छोड़कर ये काम करना, I think in itself बहुत ही noble है, बहुत interesting है. और इतने कम वक्त में he passed away in a really mysterious way, and unfortunately that's what makes his story worth telling.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we are looking forward to that as well. So lot that's coming up as you're saying. So watch this space for more. Okay, final two questions before we let you go. One, I have to ask you about, you know, I was reading somewhere a statement that you gave as well, that it's still not as easy for you to get roles coming from outside the film industry.
Right.
Is that correct? You know, you've been there for so long now in different mediums, you know, from television to OTT to film, as an anchor and of course as an actor and creator. Is it still like that? And do you believe OTT that way has been a big leveler, this medium?
See, I don't want to take away from the blessing that I have, that I do have a lot of work. That is the honest truth of it. But yes, where it becomes a bit of there's a slight discrepancy is that because I'm an outsider, I don't have that leverage or that privilege, for that matter, to make a mistake, to make a wrong turn in this industry. In terms of that, could be a project that I'm attached with, or maybe having a bad day. You know, I have to really put my best foot forward for every single thing that I do. Which I feel like when you are a part of the fraternity, in some way you do get excused. You know, if you don't perform your best, or your film or your series doesn't do well, you still get a rotation of the job. I feel I don't have that luxury. So that bit becomes difficult. And yes, you know, of course, you know, sometimes you do feel that the more creative projects, or maybe a certain budget that would be allocated, would go towards, you know, someone who's from a film family instead of an outsider. So that parity does exist, and I'm truly hoping that the kind of work that I'm doing, one, I can pave the way for myself. And I hope that, you know, being an outsider, I can really make a mark in a way that people who are not from within the industry and want to become actors, or even technicians for that matter, do feel empowered in some way. And I would love it if I could be the facilitator of that someday.
Yeah, great. फ्रेंच रिवियरा के बारे में आप अभी बात कर रहे थे, तो मुझे याद आया पानी से कि आप सेलर हैं. सेलर बने हैं या सेलर थे, या ये क्या है? I saw a photo of yours.
करेक्ट. नहीं, मैं सेलर हूँ. मैंने शौक से सेलिंग शुरू की थी.
Nice.
जब मैंने नया सेल करना शुरू किया तो लोगों को लग रहा था कि मैं किसी एक्टिंग जॉब के लिए कर रहा हूँ.
Yes.
तो मैंने एक पोस्ट में लिखा था कि नहीं यार, मैंने, you know, this is just because I really enjoy it. I love the water.
Okay.
मुझे इन जनरल सी बहुत खूबसूरत लगता है. मेरा यही रहता है कि मैं जितना वक्त हो मैं पानी के आसपास बिताऊं. मुझे सेलिंग करने का ये शौक जो है, ये एक्चुअली मैं बड़ा खुश हूँ कि मैंने ये शौक पाला है. क्योंकि अब मुझे बड़ा ही अच्छा लगता है. मैं वेट कर रहा हूँ कि बारिशें खत्म हो, कि वापस सी ओपन हो, कि मैं आई कैन टेक अ बोट आउट बाय माई सेल्फ. और आज मैं एक सर्टिफाइड सेलर हूँ, तो मेरा संडे जो है वो सबको पता है, मेरे जितने इर्द गिर्द लोग हैं, कि इसका डेडिकेटेड है. सुबह निकल जाएगा थोड़ा कार्डियो करके अपना सेलिंग करने के लिए, और मैं फिर रात को वापस आता हूँ. तो मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगता है, एंड आई रियली एंजॉय इट.
चलिए, तो उम्मीद करें बॉम्बे आऊँ तो प्लीज.
बिल्कुल, क्यों नहीं,
आएंगे,
get a cup of tea,
सेल करेंगे. बिल्कुल,
एग्जैक्टली.
फाइनल क्वेश्चन टू यू. यू नो, दिल्ली से आपकी कहानी की शुरुआत हुई, दिल्ली में आज आप हैं, तो ये सवाल वाजिद है. यू नो, व्हेन यू लुक बैक, डज इट स्टिल फील सरियल? बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट डिग्री इज व्हाट यू डिड. देन फर्स्ट वर्क असाइनमेंट, आई बिलीव 1500 रुपए की कमाई सिर्फ थी एक बिजनेस ग्रेड के लिए. नाउ टिल टुडे, लुकिंग एट स्पेशल ऑप्स, एंड नाउ यू गोइंग टू कैन एज वेल.
या इट्स बिन अमेजिंग यार. मेरी पैदाइश दिल्ली की है, पर मैं अबाउट 1 साल का था जब मेरे पेरेंट्स बॉम्बे शिफ्ट हो गए थे. बट चूंकि मैंने इतना वक्त बिताया है दिल्ली और पंजाब में, बिकॉज मेरे नान के दाद के यहाँ है, तो मुझे कहीं ना कहीं लगता है कि मेरा एक बड़ा ही स्ट्रॉन्ग कनेक्शन है दिल्ली और नॉर्थ इंडिया के साथ. हार्ट टू हार्ट मुझे वापस आना हमेशा बहुत अच्छा लगता है. मैं अपनी टीम को भी बता रहा था यार ये दिल्ली कितना खूबसूरत है. एक तो इतनी हरियाली यहाँ पर. इन जनरल आई फील मेरे को बड़ा अच्छा लगता है कि हर कॉलोनी में एक छोटा सा पार्क होता है, चलने की जगह होती है. मुझे वो कल्चर दिल्ली का बड़ा अच्छा लगता है. दिल्ली के लोग बहुत प्यारे हैं. एक तहजीब है, एक तमीज़ है, जो मुझे दिल्ली की बड़ी खूबसूरत लगती है. नॉट दैट मुझे बॉम्बे नहीं अच्छा लगता, मुझे मुंबई बड़ा अच्छा लगता है. मेरा दिल, मेरा काम मुंबई है. पर मुझे दिल्ली का खाना, दिल्ली की सड़कें, दिल्ली में एक जो कैरेक्टर है ना शहर में, वो मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगता है. So it's always nice to come back. As far as my journey is concerned, पता मैं कभी ऐसे बैठा नहीं हूँ. You're the second person who's asked me कि अगर मैं if I ever sit back with my thoughts कि where I started, where I am today. I've never really given it a thought, but I'm definitely very thankful for where I am, because this industry has not been easy. It's not an easy place to crack it. I'm not trying to say कि मैंने बड़ी मेहनत की. मेहनत हर एक इंसान करता है, बट कहीं ना कहीं मेरा वाकई मानना है कि बड़ी खुशनसीब है कुछ लोगों की जिनको काम मिलता है इस इंडस्ट्री में. एंड आई फील लाइक आई बीन लकी, even with the little bit of a struggle that I had, that I've had makers give me work. I've been paid for it, because eventually तो ये हॉबी है.
True.
एक शौक से आप एक्टर बनते हैं. अगर आपको किसी शौक के लिए कोई पैसे दे दे और वो आपका करियर बन जाए, तो इससे बढ़िया कोई बात नहीं हो सकती. तो I'm very blessed, and there are people like Neeraj Pandey who support me like the way he does. Yeah. मैंने अपने सपनों में भी नहीं सोचा था वाकई कि मैं उनके साथ पहले तो मैं स्पेशल ऑप्स करने का मौका मिलेगा, और उसके बाद वो मुझे दूसरा काम देंगे. ये एज एन एक्टर एक बहुत बड़ा ठप्पा लग जाता है आपके ऊपर कि एक मेकर आपके साथ इंडस्ट्री में वापस काम करना चाहते हैं. तो वाकई आई एम वेरी वेरी थैंकफुल इफ एनीथिंग, एंड you forced me to look back at my life, and I feel quite nice that I'm still here. We've done a bunch of interviews together for various projects, and I'm so happy that we're again doing this today.
Absolutely. Let's hope Special Ops 2.0 turns out to be very special for you.
Thank you.
In your filmography, and thank you very much for joining us today.
This is so much
in
fun.
the studio.
Thank you.
With journalist Dinesh Thakur, Uday Pratap Singh in Delhi, News X.